Alaska is a vast and wild land, a place of dramatic extremes at the very edge of the world. Here the landscape stretches endlessly, a tapestry woven from ice, stone and fire, untouched by the hand of civilization. It is a remote corner of our planet where powerful forces of nature are constantly at work, shaping a landscape that is both brutal and magnificent. Towering mountains rise abruptly from the earth, their jagged peaks shrouded in swirling clouds and battered by relentless winds. Here, the world feels raw and unfinished, a place where colossal fields of ancient ice press against the fiery heart of volcanoes. Glaciers, slow-moving rivers of ice, carve deep valleys and fjords, their blue-white surfaces fractured by crevasses and dusted with fresh snow. This is a land of imposing, snow-covered mountains that seem to touch the sky, and frozen tundras that stretch as far as the eye can see. The tundra, a vast expanse of windswept plains, is locked in ice for much of the year, its surface sculpted by blizzards and the biting cold. Its boreal forests are deep and mysterious, a dense patchwork of spruce and birch, their branches heavy with snow. Along the coast, the land meets the sea in a dramatic clash, where storm-driven waves crash against rocky shores, sending plumes of icy spray into the air. In this unforgiving yet beautiful world, only the strongest and most cleverly adapted creatures can survive. The climate is harsh and unpredictable, with temperatures plunging far below freezing and storms that can last for days. This is a realm where survival is a daily challenge, where life must contend with freezing temperatures, long periods of darkness, and the constant presence of powerful predators. The polar night descends for weeks, cloaking the land in darkness, while in summer the sun barely dips below the horizon, bathing the wilderness in an endless twilight. Yet despite these challenges, Alaska is teeming with life. Herds of caribou traverse the tundra in great migrations, and flocks of birds fill the sky, their calls echoing across the open expanse. It is home to an incredible array of animals, each with its own unique story of adaptation and resilience. Every species has evolved remarkable strategies to endure the cold, the hunger, and the ever-present threat of predators. From the great bears that roam the forests, their thick fur and powerful bodies, built for the rigors of the wild, to the tiny Arctic foxes that navigate the frozen plains, their white coats blending seamlessly with the snow, every creature has carved out a niche in this extreme environment. Some burrow beneath the snow to escape the wind, while others rely on keen senses and swift reflexes to hunt or evade danger. The story of Alaska is the story of these survivors, a testament to the remarkable power of life to endure and flourish in even the most hostile conditions on Earth. Each winter brings new trials, and each spring a renewal of the ancient struggle for survival. The sheer scale of Alaska is difficult to comprehend. Its wilderness stretches beyond the horizon, a mosaic of mountains, forests, rivers, and ice that seems to go on forever. It is a place of immense open spaces, where the silence is profound and the sense of isolation absolute. Here, the land itself is the dominant force, shaping everything that lives within its bounds. The air is crisp and clean, and the silence is broken only by the sounds of nature, the distant howl of a wolf, the piercing cry of an eagle, or the thunderous crash of a glacier carving into the sea. The elements are ever present, a symphony of wind, ice, and water. This is a world governed by the ancient rhythms of the seasons, a cycle of deep freezes and sudden thaws that dictates the lives of all who live here. Rivers freeze solid in winter, then burst to life in spring, carving new paths through the land. The dramatic landscapes are not just a backdrop, they are an active participant in the ongoing drama of life and death, constantly testing the limits of every living thing. Avalanches thunder down mountainsides and glaciers shift and groan as they reshape the earth. As we journey into this wild frontier, we will discover a world of breathtaking beauty and incredible drama. Each sunrise reveals new wonders, as light spills across the mountains and valleys, illuminating the untamed heart of Alaska. We will explore the towering peaks and frozen rivers, tracing the paths of water and ice as they shape the land over millennia. And we will witness the magical dance of the northern lights in the night sky, as ribbons of color shimmer and swirl above the snow, a reminder of the powerful forces at work far above the earth. We will meet the remarkable animals that call this place home and learn about their ingenious strategies for survival. Each adaptation is a story written in fur, feather, and instinct, a response to the relentless demands of the land. Alaska is more than just a place on a map. It is a living, breathing wilderness that reminds us of the raw power and untamed beauty of the natural world. Its forests, mountains, and rivers are ancient, shaped by eons of wind, water, and fire. It is a journey to the end of the world, where the story of survival is written across the ice and stone, in the silent language of nature itself. Alaska's landscape is a realm sculpted by time and elemental power, where mountains rise like ancient sentinels above a world of ice and stone. These peaks, among the tallest and most formidable in North America, are the backbone of the wild, their jagged silhouettes etched against the sky. The Alaska Range, a vast arc of rock and snow, stretches for hundreds of miles, forming a natural fortress that divides the land. These mountains were born millions of years ago, forged by the slow collision of tectonic plates deep beneath the Earth's crust. Over eons, relentless pressure thrust the land upward, creating a chain of summits that pierce the clouds. At the heart of this range stands Denali, the continent's highest point, soaring to 6,190 meters. Its massive bulk dominates the horizon, a monument to the raw forces that shape this land. Denali's slopes are cloaked in perpetual snow, its summit often shrouded in swirling mists, a silent witness to the passage of ages. The mountains themselves are layered with the story of their creation. Ancient granite and metamorphic rock, twisted and folded by unimaginable forces, form the bones of these giants. Glaciers, remnants of the last ice age, cling to their flanks, their slow, grinding movement carving deep valleys and sharp ridges. Glaciers are the architects of Alaska's wild terrain. These immense rivers of ice, some stretching for dozens of miles, move with a slow, relentless power. As they advance, they grind away at the bedrock, sculpting U-shaped valleys, jagged cirques, and towering moraines. The Mendenhall Glacier, with its brilliant blue ice, is just one of thousands that have shaped the land for millennia. The process is both destructive and creative. As glaciers retreat, they leave behind a transformed landscape, deep fjords, glacial lakes, and fertile valleys. Meltwater from the ice feeds countless rivers, their cold, clear currents winding through forests and tundra, sustaining life far downstream. Sometimes the melting ice reveals hidden wonders, pools of vivid blue water trapped within the glacier's heart, fleeting and beautiful. These ephemeral features are a testament to the ever-changing nature of this frozen world. Yet, beneath the ice and stone, Alaska is alive with fire. The land is dotted with volcanoes, more than 130 in all, many still active. These peaks are part of the Pacific Ring of Fire, where molten rock surges from the Earth's depths, reshaping the landscape in sudden, violent eruptions. The eruption of Mount Katmai in 1912 unleashed a torrent of ash and steam, creating the Valley of 10,000 Smokes, a landscape still marked by geothermal vents and steaming fissures. Here, the forces of creation and destruction are on full display, a reminder that Alaska's mountains are never truly at rest. This ever-shifting geology creates a mosaic of habitats. Alpine meadows bloom in the brief summer, nourished by glacial melt. Volcanic ash fields, barren and stark, are slowly colonized by hardy plants. Glacial river valleys teem with life, their waters rich with nutrients carried from the mountains above. For the wildlife of Alaska, these mountains and glaciers are both sanctuary and challenge. Caribou traverse the high passes, following ancient migration routes etched into the land by generations past. Dall sheep cling to the steepest cliffs, safe from predators in the rocky heights. Brown bears fish in icy streams, drawn by the abundance of salmon that spawn in glacial rivers. The mountains provide shelter and vantage, the glaciers a source of water and cool refuge in the heat of summer. Yet, the land is never still. Avalanches thunder down the slopes, rivers shift their course, and volcanic eruptions can transform the world in an instant. In this wild, untamed realm, every creature is shaped by the forces of ice and stone, fire and water. The mountains and glaciers of Alaska are not just features of the landscape. They are the architects of life itself, forging a world where only the resilient survive. This is Alaska, a land of giants, where the story of Earth's creation is written in every peak and every river of ice. Alaska's seasons are defined by some of the most extreme and fascinating cycles of light and darkness found anywhere on Earth. The state's high latitude means that the amount of daylight changes dramatically throughout the year, creating a world where the sun's presence, or absence, shapes every living thing. In winter, the land is plunged into a prolonged freeze, with darkness dominating the landscape. In the far north, the sun vanishes below the horizon for nearly 2 months, creating a period known as polar night. During this time, temperatures can drop to -50 degrees Celsius, and the world is enveloped in a profound, icy silence. The landscape becomes a frozen kingdom, where stillness reigns and the only movement is the wind across the snow. For the animals of Alaska, this darkness and cold demand remarkable adaptations. Moose and wolves conserve energy, moving slowly and deliberately through deep snow, while caribou huddle together for warmth and protection. As the earth tilts and the sun returns, the landscape is transformed. The arrival of summer brings a sudden and dramatic surge of light and warmth. The transition is swift, snow and ice vanish, and the land awakens in a matter of days. Rivers break free from their icy grip, and green moss and grass emerge, signaling the start of a new season. In the northernmost regions, the sun remains above the horizon for weeks, creating the phenomenon known as the midnight sun. For up to 80 days, daylight is nearly constant, with the sun circling the sky in a perpetual twilight. This unending sunlight triggers a burst of biological activity. Plants grow at astonishing rates, taking advantage of every hour of light. The tundra and prairies are quickly covered in wildflowers such as purple lupines and Arctic cotton grass, creating a vibrant tapestry across the land. Animal life responds in kind. Caribou calves are born and play in the meadows, while beavers work tirelessly to build and repair their lodges. Even in the depths of winter, the sky is sometimes illuminated by the aurora borealis, or northern lights. This phenomenon is a result of charged particles from the sun colliding with gases in Earth's upper atmosphere, producing shimmering curtains of light. On clear nights between September and April, the aurora dances across the sky, painting it with green, purple, and sometimes red hues. These lights are a silent, otherworldly ballet, a direct result of the interplay between solar winds and Earth's magnetic field. The best displays occur near the magnetic pole, where the aurora is most frequent and intense. The science behind this spectacle lies in the sun's charged particles, which, upon reaching Earth, are guided by the planet's magnetic field toward the poles, where they energize atmospheric gases and create light. The cycles of light and darkness, warmth and cold, dictate the rhythm of life for every creature in Alaska. Migration, breeding, and hibernation are all timed to these celestial patterns. Caribou travel vast distances in search of food and calving grounds, while bears emerge from hibernation as the days lengthen. The long winter is a test of endurance, where foxes curl tightly in the snow and musk oxen brace against relentless winds. The brief summer is a race against time. Salmon surge upriver to spawn, and bears feed voraciously to build reserves for the coming cold. This powerful seasonal pulse is the heartbeat of Alaska, a force that shapes every plant and animal and ensures that life here is always in harmony with the planet's most fundamental cycles. At the pinnacle of the Arctic food web stands the polar bear, a true icon of the frozen north. Towering over the icy expanse, the polar bear is the largest land carnivore on Earth, its immense size and strength making it the undisputed king of the Arctic. This solitary hunter roams vast distances across the sea ice, relying on its acute sense of smell to detect seals beneath the snow and ice from nearly a mile away. Perfectly adapted to its harsh environment, the polar bear's thick blubber and dense, water-repellent fur shield it from temperatures that can plunge far below freezing. Its fur, which appears white but is actually translucent, camouflages it against the snow and ice, while the black skin beneath absorbs and retains heat. The polar bear's massive paws, covered in rough pads and fur, act as natural snowshoes, distributing its weight and allowing it to traverse fragile ice and deep snow with ease. In the water, these bears are unmatched. They are powerful, tireless swimmers, capable of crossing dozens of miles between ice floes in search of prey. Their primary hunting strategy is patience, waiting motionless for hours at seal breathing holes, ready to strike with lightning speed when a seal surfaces for air. The polar bear's survival is intricately tied to the sea ice, which serves as both a platform for hunting and a highway for travel. As the ice recedes, the challenge of finding food grows ever more daunting. South of the Arctic, in the dense forests and rugged mountains, the grizzly bear reigns as a formidable predator. With a powerful build and keen senses, the grizzly is a master of both strength and adaptability. Also known as the brown bear, it is one of the largest terrestrial predators, capable of taking down large prey but also thriving on a diverse diet. During the salmon run, grizzlies gather in impressive numbers along rivers, using their strength and dexterity to snatch leaping fish from the rushing water. This seasonal bounty is vital, allowing them to build fat reserves for the long, harsh winter hibernation when food is scarce and survival depends on stored energy. Grizzlies are true omnivores, feasting on salmon, berries, roots, and small mammals. Their foraging shapes the ecosystem, dispersing seeds and controlling prey populations. Opportunistic by nature, they will scavenge carrion, ensuring that nothing goes to waste in the wild. Their sheer power and dominance make them a keystone species, influencing the balance of life in their domain. In the shadowy forests and open tundra, grey wolves thrive as social hunters. Their success lies in their remarkable cooperation and communication. Wolves are the embodiment of the wild, their haunting howls echoing across the vast, empty landscapes, signaling their presence and unity. Their vocalizations strengthen social bonds and coordinate group movements, essential for their survival. The strength of the wolf lies in the pack. Working together, they strategize and execute complex hunts, targeting large prey that would be impossible for a lone wolf to subdue. Each pack is a tightly knit family, with defined roles and a social hierarchy that ensures cooperation and order. Together they pursue moose and caribou, using endurance and teamwork to wear down their quarry over long distances. Wolves rely on intelligence and coordination, reading the movements of their prey and each other to maximize their chances of success. Their cooperative hunting strategy, combined with stamina and adaptability, makes them among the most efficient predators in Alaska's wilds. Wolves are tireless travelers, covering vast territories in search of food, shaping the populations of their prey and maintaining the health of the ecosystem. Deep within the silent forests, the Canada lynx moves with ghost-like stealth. This elusive feline is a master of the northern woods, rarely seen but always present. The lynx is perfectly adapted for life in deep snow, with a thick, insulating coat and large, fur-covered paws that allow it to glide across the surface without sinking. Its tufted ears enhance its hearing, while its keen eyesight helps it detect the slightest movement in the undergrowth. The lynx's oversized paws act as natural snowshoes, giving it a silent, effortless stride over the snow. This adaptation allows it to pursue prey in conditions that would hinder other predators. The lynx is a specialist, its survival closely tied to the snowshoe hare. When hare populations are high, lynx thrive. When they crash, the lynx must range farther and hunt harder. The lynx's hunting style is one of patience and precision, stalking quietly before launching a rapid, decisive attack. It is a master of ambush, blending seamlessly into its surroundings, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. With a sudden burst of speed, the lynx closes the distance, relying on stealth and agility to secure its meal. The lynx is the silent, spectral predator of the northern forests, its presence a vital thread in the intricate web of Alaska's wild ecosystems. Each of these predators, from the mighty polar bear to the elusive lynx, plays a crucial role in maintaining the balance and vitality of this untamed land. Their lives are testament to the relentless struggle for survival at the edge of the world. Towering above the undergrowth, the moose stands as a true sentinel of Alaska's wild forests and tundra. As the largest members of the deer family, moose are instantly recognizable by their immense size, long legs, and broad palmate antlers. These giants are well adapted to the northern wilderness, thriving in both dense forests and the open expanses of the tundra. Their long legs allow them to wade through marshes and deep snow, while their flexible upper lips help them strip leaves, twigs, and aquatic plants from hard-to-reach places. Strength and endurance are vital for survival, especially during the harsh Alaskan winters when food is scarce and snow can pile up meters deep. Moose use their powerful bodies to break through snow and ice, searching for willow, birch, and aspen, essential sources of nutrition in the frozen months. As autumn arrives, the landscape transforms, and so does moose behavior. Bulls engage in fierce battles, their antlers clashing in displays of strength and dominance, vying for the right to mate. These contests, though rarely fatal, determine which males will pass on their genes to the next generation. Despite their herbivorous diet, their sheer size and formidable antlers make them a challenging target for predators. Yet, moose remain a crucial food source for wolf packs and on occasion grizzly bears, especially the young or weakened individuals. Sharing the tundra with the moose are the caribou, or reindeer, renowned for their extraordinary migratory journeys. Caribou migrations are among the longest of any land mammal, with herds traveling up to 1,000 kilometers each year. These vast herds, sometimes numbering in the tens of thousands, move in unison across the tundra, a living river of hooves and antlers. Their migration is a relentless quest for food and safe calving grounds, dictated by the changing seasons and the availability of lichen, grasses, and sedges. In winter, caribou dig through snow to reach lichen, while in summer they graze on lush tundra plants, constantly on the move to avoid overgrazing and predation. Their migration patterns shape the very fabric of the Arctic ecosystem, dispersing seeds and fertilizing the soil as they travel. Caribou are a keystone species, supporting a web of life that includes wolves, bears, and scavengers, all of whom depend on the herds for sustenance. Their constant movement prevents overgrazing and helps maintain the delicate balance of tundra vegetation. Caribou are the tireless nomads of the north, their lives defined by the rhythm of migration and the challenges of the Arctic. In the windswept tundra, the muskox appears as a relic from another era, its massive frame and shaggy coat reminiscent of the Ice Age. Musk oxen are supremely adapted to the brutal cold, with a double-layered coat, a long, coarse outer layer and a soft, insulating underwool called kiviut, one of the warmest natural fibers known. This thick fur shields them from Arctic winds and biting snow, allowing them to survive where few others can. Musk oxen are highly social, living in small herds that provide warmth and protection. They use their strong hooves and curved horns to break through snow and ice, uncovering the grasses, mosses, and roots hidden beneath. When danger approaches, musk oxen display remarkable cooperation, forming a defensive ring with adults facing outward and calves protected at the center. This ancient strategy presents a wall of horns to would-be predators, deterring even the most determined wolf pack or bear. The unity and strength of the herd make musk oxen a formidable presence on the tundra. Predators often hesitate, knowing the risk of injury is high when facing such a determined defense. High above the tundra, where the land rises into jagged peaks, mountain goats have carved out a life on the edge. These sure-footed herbivores are masters of the vertical world, their muscular bodies and specialized hooves perfectly suited for climbing sheer rock faces. Their hooves have a hard outer rim for gripping and a soft rubbery pad for traction, allowing them to leap between ledges and cling to the narrowest outcrops. This adaptation not only helps them access the sparse vegetation of the high mountains, but also provides refuge from ground-based predators. When threatened, mountain goats retreat to cliffs so steep that few predators can follow, making them some of the most elusive prey in Alaska. Adult goats are relatively safe in these lofty fortresses, but the young are vulnerable to dangers from above. Golden eagles and bald eagles patrol the skies, their keen eyes searching for kids straying too close to the edge. These aerial hunters are among the few predators capable of reaching the mountain goats in their high-altitude homes. Life for the mountain goat is a constant balance between risk and reward, survival and peril, on the razor-thin edge of the world. Together, these herbivores, moose, caribou, musk oxen, and mountain goats, are the lifeblood of the tundra, each uniquely adapted to survive and thrive in one of the planet's most demanding environments. Their migrations, behaviors, and interactions shape the land, weaving a complex web of life that sustains the wild heart of Alaska. High above Alaska's untamed rivers and rugged coastlines, the bald eagle reigns supreme, its massive wings slicing through the crisp northern air. This iconic raptor, with its striking white head and tail, is a master of the skies, patrolling vast territories that stretch from dense forests to open waterways. The bald eagle's hunting prowess is legendary. Its vision is among the sharpest in the animal kingdom, allowing it to spot the faintest ripple of a fish from hundreds of feet above. With talons as strong as steel, it seizes its prey in a sudden, explosive strike, rarely missing its mark. Fish are the eagle's primary quarry. With a swift, controlled dive, the eagle extends its talons forward, skimming the water's surface, to snatch salmon or trout in a single, fluid motion. This technique is honed by years of experience and is vital for survival in Alaska's challenging environment. Yet the bald eagle is not a specialist alone. It is an opportunist, adapting its diet to the shifting seasons. When fish are scarce, it turns to small mammals, waterfowl, or even scavenges carrion left by other predators, ensuring its place at the top of the food chain. The presence of the bald eagle signals a thriving ecosystem. These birds require clean water, abundant prey, and undisturbed nesting sites, conditions found only in the healthiest of habitats. Their recovery from near extinction is a testament to the resilience of Alaska's wild places. As darkness falls over the Arctic tundra, the snowy owl emerges, gliding silently across the snow-blanketed landscape. This ghostly hunter is built for the long, frigid nights, its broad wings carrying it effortlessly over the frozen expanse. The snowy owl's plumage is a marvel of adaptation. Its brilliant white feathers provide perfect camouflage against the snow, allowing it to vanish from sight as it waits for the slightest movement below. Patient and unyielding, the snowy owl perches motionless for hours, its keen hearing tuned to the faintest rustle beneath the snow. When prey is detected, it launches in a swift, silent attack, its wings barely making a sound. Specialized feathers with soft fringed edges allow the snowy owl to fly in near-total silence, a crucial advantage for ambushing unsuspecting prey in the stillness of the Arctic night. Lemmings and voles are the snowy owl's staple food, and it can detect their movements even beneath thick snow. This acute sense of hearing, combined with its stealth, makes the snowy owl a formidable predator in one of the world's harshest environments. In the open skies above Alaska's cliffs and valleys, the peregrine falcon commands attention. This raptor is the fastest animal on Earth, a living missile built for speed and precision. The peregrine's hunting technique is a marvel of evolution. From high above, it spots its avian prey, then folds its wings and enters a stoop, a controlled dive that can exceed 320 kilometers per hour. The impact is swift and decisive. Peregrines are specialists, targeting other birds in mid-flight. Their aerial battles are displays of agility and power, with the falcon striking its prey with breathtaking accuracy. The stoop is one of nature's most dramatic spectacles, a blur of feathers and speed ending in a sudden, silent strike. This technique ensures the peregrine's dominance in the aerial realm. The peregrine falcon's resurgence in Alaska's wild places is a sign of ecological balance. Its presence depends on healthy populations of prey and unspoiled nesting sites on cliffs and ledges, where it raises its young far from disturbance. Along the wind-battered cliffs and rocky islands, the puffin makes its home. Though not a raptor, this seabird is a skilled hunter in its own right, perfectly adapted to the harsh coastal environment. The puffin's vivid beak and upright stance are unmistakable. These features, along with its waterproof plumage, equip it for a life spent diving beneath the waves and nesting on sheer cliffs. Puffins are expert underwater hunters, using their wings as flippers to chase down schools of herring and sand eels. Their agility beneath the surface rivals that of any raptor in the air. Nesting in dense colonies, puffins dig burrows into the soft earth of the cliffs, where they raise a single chick each season. These colonies are bustling centers of activity, echoing with the calls of thousands of birds. During the brief Arctic summer, the cliffs become a vibrant tapestry of life as puffins gather in their thousands to breed, feed, and rear their young, forming a vital link in the coastal food web. From the silent flight of the snowy owl to the high-speed stoop of the peregrine falcon and the underwater pursuits of the puffin, Alaska's birds of prey and seabirds are perfectly attuned to their wild world. Each plays a crucial role in maintaining the delicate balance of this remote and magnificent ecosystem. Alaska's frigid, nutrient-rich waters stretch for thousands of miles, forming one of the most productive marine ecosystems on Earth. Here, the icy seas are ruled by some of the largest and most fascinating creatures on the planet, true giants whose lives are woven into the fabric of the ocean. Among these titans, the walrus stands out as one of the most iconic. With their immense size and unmistakable tusks, walruses are perfectly adapted to life along Alaska's northern coasts. Their long, ivory tusks, used for hauling themselves onto ice and for defense, can reach up to 3 feet in length. Their sensitive whiskers help them detect prey hidden beneath the ocean floor. Walruses are highly social, gathering in herds that can number in the thousands. These gatherings are filled with grunts, bellows, and the constant jostling of bodies, a spectacle of life on the edge of the ice. They dive to the seafloor, using their whiskers to locate clams and other mollusks, then use their powerful suction to extract the soft bodies from shells. This foraging behavior helps shape the benthic ecosystem, stirring up nutrients for other marine life. Despite their size, walruses are not without threats. Orcas, the ocean's apex predators, and the occasional polar bear are capable of preying on the young or weak. The survival of walruses is intimately tied to the presence of sea ice, which they use as platforms for resting, birthing, and protection from predators. Mothers give birth and nurse their calves on these floating platforms, ensuring the next generation has a safe start in life. But as the Arctic warms and sea ice retreats, walruses are forced to adapt. The loss of ice means longer swims and more time spent on crowded beaches, increasing the risk of deadly stampedes and disease. These massive gatherings on land can be perilous, especially for calves, as panic can trigger dangerous stampedes. The shrinking ice threatens the very foundation of their existence, putting the future of these marine giants at risk. Alaska's icy seas are also home to other giants, each playing a vital role in the ocean's web of life. Every summer, humpback whales undertake an epic migration from tropical breeding grounds to Alaska's rich feeding waters, traveling thousands of miles to gorge on herring, krill, and other small fish. Humpbacks are famous for their acrobatics, breaching high above the waves, and for their remarkable bubble net feeding, a cooperative hunting strategy unique to these waters. Working together, groups of whales blow spirals of bubbles to corral fish into tight balls, then surge upward with mouths agape, engulfing thousands of prey in a single gulp. This teamwork not only ensures their survival, but also redistributes nutrients throughout the ocean. These feeding frenzies are a testament to the intelligence and social bonds of humpback whales, and a vital spectacle in the Alaskan marine ecosystem. At the very top of the food chain are the orcas, or killer whales, Alaska's most formidable marine predators. Orcas live and hunt in tightly knit family pods, each with its own dialect and hunting traditions. Their social structure is complex, and their hunting strategies are among the most sophisticated in the animal kingdom. Some pods specialize in hunting fish like salmon, while others target seals, sea lions, or even large whales. This diversity in diet and technique allows orcas to thrive in Alaska's ever-changing seas. Knowledge is passed down through generations as young orcas learn by observing and participating in hunts, ensuring the survival of their pod's unique culture. With their striking black and white patterns, orcas move through the icy waters with power and grace. As apex predators, they help maintain the balance of the marine ecosystem, shaping the lives of countless other species. Together, these giants of the icy seas, walruses, humpback whales and orcas, are not only symbols of Alaska's wild beauty, but also vital players in the health and resilience of the ocean itself. Their migrations, behaviors and interactions form the heartbeat of this remote and extraordinary world. In the vast, untamed wilderness of Alaska, every living thing is woven into a complex and delicate web of life. Here, survival is not just about the strength of the individual, but about the intricate relationships that bind species together, shaping the fate of all who dwell in this land. Predators and prey are locked in a dynamic balance, each influencing the other's numbers and behaviors. Wolves, for example, rely on the vast herds of caribou, their movements and migrations dictated by the availability of food and the ever-present threat of predation. The Canada lynx and the snowshoe hare are perhaps the most iconic example of this interdependence. The lynx population rises and falls in a predictable cycle, closely following the abundance of its primary prey, the snowshoe hare. When hares are plentiful, lynx thrive, raising more kittens and expanding their range. The forest echoes with the quiet movements of both predator and prey, each shaping the other's destiny. But when the hare population crashes, the lynx face hardship. Their numbers dwindle, and the survivors must roam farther in search of food, their fate tied inexorably to the cycles of their prey. This intricate relationship is mirrored throughout the ecosystem. Every predator, from the stealthy lynx to the powerful wolf, is dependent on the health and abundance of the animals they hunt. The balance is delicate, maintained by countless interactions and subtle shifts in population. This balance extends to every corner of the Alaskan wilderness. The fates of herbivores, carnivores, and even the smallest scavengers are intertwined, each playing a role in the grand tapestry of life. The annual salmon run is another perfect example of interspecies connection. Millions of salmon surge upstream, returning from the ocean to the rivers where they were born, driven by an ancient instinct to spawn and then die. This epic journey feeds not only the salmon's own life cycle, but also countless other creatures. The rivers teem with activity as the salmon leap waterfalls and navigate rapids. Their bodies are a vital resource for the ecosystem. Grizzly bears, bald eagles and wolves gather at the rivers, feasting on the bounty. For these predators, the salmon run is a time of abundance, a brief window when food is plentiful, and energy can be stored for the lean months ahead. The remains of the salmon, carried into the forest by bears and other animals, fertilize the soil, nourishing the towering trees and the undergrowth. In this way, the salmon's journey from ocean to river sustains not just predators but the very forest itself. Even in death, the salmon give life, their nutrients cycling through the ecosystem, supporting new growth and ensuring the streams remain rich and vibrant for generations to come. Yet this delicate balance is constantly tested by the forces of nature. Harsh winters, sudden storms, and shifting seasons all play a role in shaping the lives of Alaska's inhabitants. The climate itself is a powerful force, dictating the rhythms of migration, breeding, and survival. In recent years, warming temperatures have begun to alter these ancient patterns, melting sea ice and changing the very face of the land. The melting sea ice threatens the survival of animals like polar bears and walruses, who depend on the frozen expanse for hunting and resting. As the ice retreats, these species are forced to adapt, their lives growing ever more precarious. Warmer temperatures also bring changes to the vegetation. Shrubs begin to encroach on the open tundra, altering the grazing patterns of caribou and the habitats of countless smaller creatures. These environmental shifts disrupt ancient migration routes and breeding grounds, challenging the survival strategies that have evolved over millennia. Yet the wildlife of Alaska is nothing if not resilient. Moose, Arctic foxes, and countless other species endure the harshest conditions, adapting in remarkable ways to survive. Some animals shift their ranges, alter their diets, or change their behaviors in response to new challenges. The ability to adapt is crucial, but the pace of change is faster than ever before. Camouflage, hibernation, and migration are just a few of the strategies that have evolved to help species survive the extremes of Alaska. Each adaptation is a testament to the power of natural selection and the interconnectedness of all life here. Even after the hunt, the relationships continue. Scavengers like ravens and foxes follow the great predators, feeding on the remains and ensuring that nothing goes to waste. Every role, from hunter to scavenger, is vital in maintaining the balance. In Alaska, the story of life is one of connection, adaptation, and balance. The future of the polar bear, the caribou, the salmon, and all who share this wild land depends on the continued harmony of these relationships and the enduring resilience of nature itself. Alaska is truly a world on the edge of the continent, on the edge of the climate, and on the edge of our modern world. It is a land of superlatives, home to the highest peaks, the largest glaciers, and some of the most dramatic seasonal changes on the planet. This is a place that reminds us of the raw, untamed power of nature, a world where the forces of geology and climate are on full display. The struggle for survival here is epic, played out every day by creatures that are masterpieces of evolution. They have been shaped by the cold, the darkness, and the rugged landscape into perfect survivors. The animals of Alaska embody a spirit of toughness and resilience, from the grizzly bear fattening up on salmon to the Arctic fox changing its coat for camouflage. Each creature has a remarkable story to tell, the musk ox forming its defensive circle, the mountain goat scaling an impossible cliff, the snowy owl hunting in silent flight. These are not just interesting facts, they are lessons in adaptation and survival. They show us the incredible ingenuity of life and its ability to find a way to thrive in even the most challenging environments. These animals are the living soul of this great wild land. As we have seen, this incredible world is not immune to change. The challenges posed by a warming climate are very real, and the delicate balance of this ecosystem is at risk. The fate of the animals that live at the top of the world is a powerful indicator of the health of our entire planet. Their struggle is a warning, a call to recognize our impact on the natural world and to take responsibility for its future. Here, every day is a test of endurance, a contest between predator and prey, between the forces of life and the relentless elements. The survival of Alaska's wildlife is a testament to the power of adaptation, but also a reminder of the fragility of this wild edge. The drama of existence unfolds in silence and in storm, in the hush of falling snow and the roar of the river in spring thaw. Alaska is a land of profound beauty and enduring wilderness. It is a place that inspires awe and humility, a reminder of a world that exists beyond our human-dominated landscapes. It is a land of ice and fire, of light and darkness, and of life that persists against all odds. To explore Alaska, even from afar, is to witness the grand drama of nature in its purest form. Here, the story is written in the tracks left in fresh snow, in the silent flight of the owl, in the patient endurance of the muskox through the long, dark winter. This is a world on the edge, magnificent, fragile, and ever-changing. The future of Alaska's wild inhabitants hangs in the balance, shaped by forces both ancient and new. Their ongoing struggle is a living testament to the resilience of life, and a call for us to reflect on the legacy we leave behind. May we strive to understand, respect, and protect this wild edge, so that its natural drama continues for all the generations yet to come. Or Gap 2s. Beneath the vast skies and across the sweeping tundra, Alaska's wilderness is bound together by an invisible web, an intricate network of life, where every creature, great or small, plays a vital role. In this delicate tapestry, energy flows in a seamless cycle, connecting predator and prey, plant and animal, in an endless dance of survival. Here the story begins with the simplest forms of life. Hardy mosses and resilient lichens cling to the rocks, soaking up every sliver of sunlight during the brief summer. These pioneers are grazed upon by lemmings and voles, their tiny bodies packed with the energy of the Arctic sun. For these small mammals, every day is a race to eat and remain unseen, because above, sharp-eyed owls and cunning foxes are always on the hunt. The snowy owl glides silently over the tundra, its keen vision locked onto the slightest movement below. A flash of white, a sudden pounce, and the energy stored in the lemming is passed up the chain. The Arctic fox, stealthy and patient, waits for its moment, scavenging leftovers or ambushing prey beneath the snow. In the rivers, salmon return from the sea in a pulse of life, their bodies rich with nutrients gathered from distant oceans. Grizzly bears gather at the water's edge, feasting on the bounty. The remains of the salmon feed eagles, ravens, and even the soil itself, nourishing the forests and fueling another cycle of growth. Caribou herds migrate across the tundra, grazing on lichen and low shrubs. Wolves shadow their movements, testing the herd, seeking the weak or unwary. When a wolf pack brings down its prey, nothing goes to waste. Ravens, foxes, and even beetles join the feast, each playing their part in breaking down and recycling the energy back into the land. Every link in this web is crucial. Remove one, and the balance shifts. If the lemming numbers fall, the snowy owl must search farther and harder. If the salmon do not return, the bears go hungry, and the forest loses its nutrients. In this wilderness, survival is not just an individual struggle, it is a shared fate, woven together by the flow of energy and the bonds of interdependence. Alaska's food webs are a testament to the complexity and beauty of nature's design. Here, the fate of one is tied to the fate of all. It is a story written in paw prints and wing beats, in the silent chase and the patient wait, a story that continues unseen beneath the endless sky. Beneath the frozen surfaces of Alaska's lakes and rivers, a hidden world thrives, one where survival means mastering the art of cold. Here, Arctic fish and amphibians have evolved extraordinary adaptations, allowing them to endure temperatures that would freeze most life solid. The Arctic grayling, with its iridescent fins, glides through icy waters that hover just above freezing. Its secret lies in specialized proteins, antifreeze glycoproteins that circulate through its blood. These molecules prevent lethal ice crystals from forming inside its cells, keeping the fish mobile and alert even in the coldest months. The Alaska blackfish, a small but remarkable survivor, takes adaptation even further. When winter seals the lakes in thick ice and oxygen dwindles, this fish resorts to gulping air at the water's surface, extracting what it needs through its gills and skin. In the harshest conditions, it can even survive brief periods out of water, burrowing into the mud and slowing its metabolism to a crawl. Amphibians, too, have found unique ways to endure. The wood frog, no larger than a child's palm, spends winter in a state of suspended animation. As frost creeps through the forest floor, the frog allows itself to freeze solid. Its heart stops, its breathing ceases, and ice forms within its body. Yet, thanks to concentrated glucose in its cells, vital organs remain unharmed. When spring sun thaws the land, the wood frog awakens, ready to breed in the meltwater pools. These remarkable strategies are shaped by millennia of evolution. From antifreeze proteins to freeze tolerance, each adaptation is a testament to the resilience of life in Alaska's coldest realms. Here, beneath the ice, the struggle for survival continues, quiet, unseen, and utterly extraordinary. Beneath the vast tundra and within Alaska's forests, another world pulses with life, one built by creatures often overlooked. Insects and invertebrates, though small, play a monumental role in the fabric of the Arctic ecosystem. From the humble springtail leaping across the snow's surface to the resilient Arctic woolly bear moth, these tiny architects have mastered survival in one of Earth's harshest climates. The Arctic woolly bear moth, cloaked in a dense layer of insulating hairs, spends the majority of its life as a caterpillar. Each winter it freezes solid, its body riddled with ice, heart silent. Yet with the return of the midnight sun it thaws and resumes feeding, repeating this cycle for up to 14 years, one of the longest caterpillar stages in the animal kingdom. Beneath the moss and soil, springtails and beetles remain active even in sub-zero temperatures. Their secret lies in anti-freeze compounds and behaviors that keep their tiny bodies from freezing. Some burrow deep below the frost line, while others huddle in microhabitats warmed by decaying leaves. Mosquitoes, often seen as pests, are vital pollinators, supporting the brief but explosive bloom of Arctic wildflowers. Their larvae thrive in meltwater pools, feeding countless migratory birds and fish during the short summer. Invertebrates are not just survivors, they are recyclers, pollinators, and prey. They break down plant matter, returning nutrients to the soil and fueling the growth of new life. Spiders and predatory beetles keep insect populations in balance, while earthworms aerate the soil, allowing roots to breathe. Without these tireless workers, the ecosystem would unravel. In Alaska's extreme environment, the smallest creatures ensure the survival of the largest, binding the web of life together in ways both subtle and profound. The story of the North is not only written by giants, but by the millions of tiny lives that turn the wheel of the seasons, year after year. As the seasons shift, Alaska becomes a land in motion. Across its sweeping tundra, dense forests and icy seas, millions of animals embark on epic migrations, timeless journeys that define the rhythm of northern life. Caribou herds, numbering in the tens of thousands, traverse hundreds of miles between winter forests and summer calving grounds, their hooves carving ancient trails into the soft earth. Each step is a test of endurance as they brave biting winds, swollen rivers, and the ever-present threat of predators. For these sturdy herbivores, migration is survival, an ancient instinct that guides them to richer grazing and away from the relentless cold. Above, the sky fills with wings. Arctic terns, no larger than a dove, undertake the longest migration on Earth, flying from the Arctic Circle to the Antarctic and back again, chasing endless summer. Snow geese, sandhill cranes, and swans travel in great honking flocks, their formations painting fleeting patterns against the clouds. Guided by the stars, the sun, and Earth's magnetic field, They navigate with a precision honed over millennia. Yet the journey is fraught with peril. Sudden storms can force flocks off course. Starvation and exhaustion thin their ranks. For many, the migration is a test of life and death, and only the strongest return to the breeding grounds each year. Even the great whales of Alaska's icy seas heed the call of the seasons. Grey whales leave their feeding grounds in the Bering and Chukchi seas, swimming thousands of miles to warmer waters where calves are born. Their songs echo through the deep, a navigation tool and a call to kin as they journey through a world of shifting ice and unseen dangers. In Alaska, migration is more than movement. It is a story of resilience, adaptation, and the unbreakable bond between animal and land. Each journey, whether by hoof, wing, or fin, weaves a living thread through the tapestry of the North, connecting distant places and generations in a never-ending cycle of return. Alaska's wild expanse is changing. As global temperatures rise, the Arctic warms at twice the rate of the rest of the planet, setting in motion a cascade of transformations that ripple through every ecosystem. Once immovable glaciers retreat, exposing raw earth and reshaping rivers. Permafrost, the frozen foundation of the tundra, thaws and collapses, releasing ancient carbon and altering the very ground beneath the paws and hooves of its inhabitants. For Alaska's wildlife, these shifts pose unprecedented challenges. The timing of plant growth, once perfectly synchronized with caribou migrations and the arrival of migratory birds, is thrown into disarray. Calving grounds may bloom too early or too late, threatening the delicate window of nourishment for newborns. In the seas, melting ice opens new passages but disrupts the habitats of seals and polar bears, who rely on stable platforms for hunting and raising young. Ocean currents, altered by warming waters, impact the distribution and abundance of fish, key prey for countless birds and marine mammals. The once predictable cycles of salmon runs and herring schools may falter, sending ripples up the food chain. Even insects, the tiny architects of the tundra, face new threats as warming temperatures invite southern species northward, introducing unfamiliar competition and disease. Yet, amidst these challenges, Alaska's wildlife reveals both vulnerability and resilience. Some species adapt, shifting ranges or altering behaviors in a race to keep pace with a changing world. Others struggle, their ancient rhythms no longer in harmony with the land they call home. In this era of uncertainty, the fate of Alaska's wild inhabitants is written not just in the ice and earth, but in the subtle interplay of adaptation and loss. The future of this land of ice and fire will be shaped by the choices made far beyond its borders, as the world grapples with the legacy of a warming planet. Amidst the sweeping tundra and shadowed forests of Alaska, life flourishes in forms both humble and extraordinary. Here the true pioneers are not the animals but the plants, silent guardians that anchor the web of life in this rugged land. From the low-lying mosses and lichens carpeting the permafrost, to the tenacious dwarf willows clinging to wind-battered slopes, each species tells a story of survival against the odds. In the brief, luminous summer, wildflowers burst into a riot of colour, their blossoms racing to attract pollinators before the cold returns. Arctic poppies tilt their golden faces to track the sun, maximizing every precious hour of light. Cotton grass waves in the chill breeze, its fluffy heads storing warmth for nesting birds. These plants are masters of adaptation. Some, like the bearberry, grow close to the ground, avoiding icy winds and trapping heat. Others, like the fireweed, are first to reclaim land scarred by fire or glacial retreat, stabilizing soil and preparing the way for future forests. Deep roots help birches and spruces draw nutrients from frozen earth, while thick, waxy leaves shield shrubs from dehydration and frost. But their resilience is only part of the story. Alaska's plant life forms the foundation for all who call this land home. Caribou graze on lichens during the hungry winter months. Moose browse on willow and aspen shoots in the thaw. Songbirds nest in thickets, while insects feast on nectar and leaves. In turn, feeding hungry chicks and fledglings. Even the great predators depend on these silent guardians. The cycles of berries and seeds dictate the rhythms of bears, rodents, and countless birds. As seasons shift and climate patterns change, the fate of Alaska's wildlife is intricately tied to these steadfast survivors. In the quiet persistence of Alaska's plant life, we find a testament to endurance, adaptation, and the unbreakable threads that bind all living things in the North's wild embrace. Beneath the mirror-like surfaces of Alaska's rivers and lakes lies a realm as vibrant and vital as the land above. A hidden world shaped by water, current, and cold. Here, life pulses in rhythms invisible to those who only walk the shore. Crystal-clear streams tumble from glacier-fed heights, weaving through ancient forests and open tundra. In these brisk, oxygen-rich waters, salmon begin their epic journeys, their silver bodies flashing as they navigate gravel beds and swirling eddies. But salmon are only the most famous residents. Rainbow trout, Arctic grayling, and lake char drift in the shelter of submerged roots and rocky outcrops, waiting for drifting insects or darting minnows. Aquatic plants, like slender pondweed and waving water milfoil, anchor themselves to the silty bottom, their leaves providing shelter for tiny invertebrates and young fish. In the shallows, mayfly and caddisfly larvae cling to stones, filtering nutrients from the current, while nimble sculpins and sticklebacks prowl for prey. Predators and prey maintain a delicate equilibrium. Pike lurk, motionless, among tangled reeds, ready to strike at the unsuspecting. Otters slip silently through the water, their playful chases a dance of survival. Even beneath thick winter ice, life endures. Fish slow their movements, conserving energy as oxygen levels drop. Amphibians burrow into the muddy bottom, while microscopic zooplankton drift in the dark, sustaining the food web until the thaw. Every ripple and eddy, every shadow cast by a passing fish speaks to the intricate connections that sustain these underwater worlds. Without a single human footprint, the rivers and lakes of Alaska remain sanctuaries of wildness, where the flow of water shapes the destiny of all within. In these hidden currents, the story of Alaska continues, unseen, yet essential to the heartbeat of the North. Beneath the endless sky and far below the watchful gaze of eagles and foxes, a quieter struggle unfolds, one of determination, ingenuity, and sheer resilience. In the tangled grass, beneath the snow, and deep within the root-bound earth, Alaska's small mammals wage their daily battles for survival. Meet the lemming, a tiny rodent with a legendary reputation. Contrary to myth, these creatures are not driven by blind instinct, but by an extraordinary will to endure. All year round, lemmings carve out elaborate tunnel networks beneath the insulating snow, creating a hidden world safe from the Arctic's biting winds and prowling predators. Here they feast on roots, mosses, and the tender shoots of sedges, fuel for their relentless energy, even in the darkest months. Voles, cousins of the lemming, are equally resourceful. With nimble paws, they weave through the undergrowth, storing seeds and grasses in secret caches to sustain themselves when food grows scarce. Their lives are a constant dance between shadow and light, always alert for the silent swoop of an owl or the sudden pounce of a stoat. As winter tightens its grip, these small mammals become architects of warmth. Their tunnels trap precious heat, allowing them to breed and raise their young, even as temperatures plummet outside. But danger is never far away. Every movement sends vibrations through the snow, and the sharp ears of a fox or ermine are always listening. In the brief, abundant summer, the tundra erupts with life. Lemmings and voles seize the opportunity, multiplying rapidly to take advantage of the bounty. Their populations rise and fall in cycles, shaping the fate of predators and the very landscape itself. Invisible to most, these humble creatures are the unsung heroes of Alaska's wild tapestry. Through their quiet persistence, they knit together the threads of the ecosystem, feeding countless hunters, aerating the soil, and ensuring that even in the harshest conditions life endures. In the secret world beneath the snow and among the grasses, the story of survival is written not by the mighty, but by the small, the true masters of the North. In Alaska, existence is dictated not just by predator and prey, but by the untamed power of weather itself. Here, blizzards can appear without warning, walls of wind and swirling snow that erase the land in white and test every living creature's will to survive. For the caribou, a sudden storm means huddling together, their bodies forming a living shield against the icy onslaught. Wolves silently track in their wake, knowing the chaos can separate the weak from the herd. Birds, sensing the shift in air pressure, seek shelter in dense thickets or burrow deep into the snow, wings folded tight to conserve warmth. Beneath the surface, small mammals like lemmings and voles retreat deeper into their tunnels, where the snow's insulating layer muffles the roar above. Even the mighty polar bear, master of the ice, is humbled by the ferocity of a winter storm, forced to wait, conserving energy until the winds subside and the hunt can begin again. Extreme events are more than moments of hardship. They are forces that shape the very rhythm of life in Alaska. A single storm can scatter flocks, alter migration routes, or freeze rivers overnight, transforming the landscape and rewriting the rules of survival. In this land, to endure is to adapt. Every animal, from the smallest insect to the largest whale, learns to read the signs: a darkening sky, a sudden silence, the bite of cold on the wind. For those who listen, these warnings are the difference between life and death. Here, weather is not just a backdrop, but a relentless, unpredictable actor, driving the cycles of feast and famine, forging the resilience that defines Alaska's wild inhabitants. In the dance between storm and silence, survival is won not only by strength or cunning, but by the ability to weather the storm. In the vast expanse of Alaska, survival is rarely a solitary pursuit. Here, the wild is woven together by invisible threads, symbiotic relationships that quietly shape the fate of countless creatures. Mutualism flourishes beneath the northern lights. The Arctic lupin draws nitrogen from the air, enriching the soil for neighboring plants, while bees and butterflies in turn gather nectar and spread life from blossom to blossom. High in the treetops, the northern flicker pecks out nesting holes, abandoned later and adopted by squirrels or owls, each species benefiting from the efforts of another. Down on the tundra, the caribou and the Arctic lichen share a vital bond. The lichen, slow-growing and resilient, thrives in the harshest conditions and, in winter, becomes the caribou's main food source. Without this humble partnership, entire herds would struggle to endure the long frozen months. Commensalism, too, leaves its mark. The Arctic fox, ever watchful, trails behind polar bears and wolves, scavenging the remains of their hunts. While the predator's feast is undisturbed, the fox finds a meal in the aftermath, a silent pact written in paw prints on the snow. Even the rivers tell stories of connection. Salmon, returning to spawn, nourish not just their own kind, but feed eagles, otters, and even the forests themselves. As their bodies decompose, nutrients seep into the soil, sustaining trees and plants that shelter and feed other wildlife. In Alaska, every life is entwined with another. These quiet alliances, born of necessity, adaptation, and chance, form the backbone of an ecosystem where cooperation is as vital as competition. In the unending cycle of give and take, the wild finds balance, and the bonds of survival endure, unseen but unbroken.